And how about those Devils? How about those Devils? And how about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And the New Jersey Devils back in Newark, New Jersey at the Rock, coming off of a disappointing 1-3 West Coast road trip, hosting the Montreal Canadiens for Eastern Conference dominance. And our beloved New Jersey Devils pull out what I'm going to call the win of the season thus far, beating the Canadiens by a score of 4-3 in overtime. What a beautiful finish by Bratter. There's a lot to get to with this game, but wow, what a win for this club. Getting back in the win column, 6-0 on home ice at the Rock. I must ask, I must know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Finding ways to win ugly and snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, your New Jersey Devils. This was not the prettiest game. This was nowhere near the prettiest game, but they found a way to win. Found the way to win. Blew the 2-1 lead. Went behind 3-2. Tied it up late. I mean, wow. What a phenomenal performance. Obviously, we'll get to the Dougie news. I mean, obviously, this would not be a Devils game if we did not lose a player to injury. And the latest, it looks like Dougie Hamilton is going to miss time. This is gut-wrenching. We'll get to all that later on in the program here, but we get to the goals. Welcome back to the Devils, Cody Glass. Many of you know, amidst the millions of injuries the Devils had on the season, Cody Glass has been gone, I believe, for the last 7 games. Was a huge part of the bottom 6 rejuvenation, if you will, on the season. We had finally seen depth scoring. What is depth scoring? We saw it early on in the season. Glass goes down. He finally comes back, and it didn't take him long. At a minute 53, there was a little bit of a kind of a confusion amongst Canadians at the blue line. Puck pops to Cody Glass, and he just fires it in at 153, giving the New Jersey Devils the 1-0 lead, unassisted. Cody Glass is 3rd of the season. You'd love to see it. Welcome back, Cody Glass. We missed him. And he looked like he had a little bit of that extra hop all night. He was flying around. I liked Cody Glass's game a lot. Hopefully he stays healthy and continues to contribute and keeps this Devils bottom 6 kind of ticking. But the lead did not last long at 2:59. Doc, one of the weirdest goals. I've seen it from multiple angles, too. It's hard to see exactly what happened, but someone, I guess it was Dobson, fires at the net. It hit him and popped straight up in the air. Everyone lost track of it, and then it just goes in the net. I mean, terrible, fluky goal against. Super bizarre. One of the weirder ones you're going to see. And he ties it up a little over a minute later at 2:59. That is how the first period would end. 1-1. We head to the second. Shimo Nemitz driving the net. I think he took the initial shot, if I'm not mistaken. But ends up with the puck behind the net and just does a little behind the back pass. Just kind of throws it right out in front. Andre Palat creeps in and buries it, giving the Devils the 2-1 lead at 8:05. His first of the season. Many people waiting for Andre Palat to start showing up on the score sheet. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come. Palat gets his first at 8:05 from Jackhughes and Shimo Nemitz. Gives the Devils a 2-1 lead, and that is how the second period would end. And after that period, I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, down Dougie. Other guys going to have to step up, play some big minutes. And it just seemed like one of those games where you're hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. That's kind of how I felt through the 2 periods. We head to the third. And at 59 seconds, Jake Evans, a little weird wrist shot that beats Markey. Bad goal, obviously. One that Markey needs to make a save on desperately, especially given the stakes of this game. In the third period, in a 2-1 game where you have the lead, you got to make that save. Obviously, Markey knows that. Everyone knows that. Bad goal, but, they happen sometimes. And Jake Evans ties it up at 2. And at that point, I will say I was not feeling great. After they tied it up, I said, oh, boy, here we go again. I really my whole kind of mood took a downward dip. all tied up at 2, and mid-period at 10:33, off a rebound, Kapanen gives the Canadiens the 3-2 lead, and at that point, I was at a low point. I was feeling very low, and I thought the game was over, if I'm being honest. Devils had some chances. It just seemed like they weren't going to bury anything, but I was still hoping for the best. Still hoping for the best and still hoping to make some noise with the extra attacker should it come to it. And sure enough, it certainly did. Oh, did it ever. Late in the third, with the goaltender Jacob Markstrom on the bench, Devils buzzing it around. Timo takes a shot. I think it was saved. Devils retain possession. Timo driving the net. Jack takes a shot. Puck's kind of sitting there. People are kind of whacking away at it. No one really sees where the puck is. It's sitting in the crease. And Timo pops it up and in.
Fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Oh, you love to see it. Timo Meyer. Timo time erupts at the most opportune moment. And at 18:53, Timo Meyer gets his 4th of the season from Jack Hughes and the Bratter, tying it up at 3, and you absolutely love to see it. Sending the Rock faithful into pandemonium. I was jumping up and down on my sofa. I was getting tons of texts. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. Before we get to the overtime, hold on. Win or lose, we booze, guys. And I reloaded the surf sides. I got so excited by Timo time. Win or lose, we booze. I actually like this one. I never had this one before. This is the peach green tea. I'm not typically a green tea guy, but I'm definitely a peach guy. And I'm also an aesthetics branding guy. And I just like the colors on this. I'm like, let me try this one. This is the peach green tea and vodka, brought to you by our good friends at Surfside. Delicious. Win or lose, we booze, guys. This is when it hits your lips, because victory drinks are better than loser beverages. Cheers to all of you. But Timo with an absolutely massive goal. Extra attacker, you love to see it. And obviously it starts up the whole conversation again. Like, what does Timo have to do to get on power play 1? Like, can we put my man on power play 1? Please put Timo on power play 1 every time. I know they talk about the matchups and they're going to roll out whatever power play lines to counteract the opposition's penalty kill. Like, you know, I don't really care about any of that. I like our chances with Timo Meyer out there on power play 1 every single time. And we saw Timo with the extra attacker. Not quite a power play, but, you know, with a man advantage with the goalie on the bench. And Timo does it big, ties it up. Nothing in the final minute and 7 seconds of regulation. We head to overtime. And in overtime, I forget who the Canadian was, makes a little bit of a snafu. And it sends the Bratter off to the races. And you don't want to send the Bratter off to the races. Jesper Bratt comes in on the breakaway, throws a little bit of the head fake, does a little bit of the deke action.
Jesper Bratt, tit-a-tat, where my boy at?
Where my boy at? Jesper Bratt sends the Rock faithful home with a W. His 5th of the season unassisted at 1:33 of overtime. What a beautiful finish on the breakaway chance. And what a game. I really thought they were cooked after the 3rd goal. I just thought it was going to be one of those nights where it's just like, you know, they let it get away from them. Couldn't capitalize on all the many power plays they had. We'll get to all that in a minute. But what a game. Love to see it. Bratter comes through in the overtime session. Devils now 6-0 on home ice at the Rock. I mean, that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Jesper Bratt, love to see it. Love Bratter. His 5th of the season. There were people, you know, where has Bratt been? A lot of guys have been, you know, underperforming in the past few games or so. I mean, the West Coast trip was pretty ugly, but it is what it is. But what a win. Love Bratter and was so happy for him to get that finish there. And same with Timo. He started off super hot. He kind of cooled off a little bit, and he gets a huge goal in the closing moments of regulation to force the overtime. We get to the game stats. Canadiens with 19 shots on goal, Devils with 28. Canadiens, 56.8% of the faceoffs to the Devils, 43.2%. Devils PK looking good again. 0 for 2 for the Canadiens on the power play. The Devils go 0 for 5. Obviously not ideal. And by not ideal, I mean tragic. You got it. For this team to go 0 for 5 on the power play. It's completely unacceptable. 5 power play chances, you absolutely must score on at least one of them. 20% in a game like this. Obviously, not having Dougie for a huge chunk of the game plays a part in that. But power play can't go 0 for 5 because had the Devils lost this game 3-2 in regulation, I would certainly say the power play lost us this game. You cannot go 0 for 5 in games like this. You just cannot. Got to figure it out. And hopefully Dougie's back sooner than later. Again, another injury. We'll get to Dougie and all that after this. Let me get through the game stats here. But yeah, another injury. I mean, and to Dougie. Psychotic. Canadiens, 14 hits. The Devils with 19. Canadiens, 21 block shots. Devils with 13 block shots. Canadiens, 16 giveaways. Devils also with 16 giveaways. The Canadiens with 6 takeaways. And the Devils with 2 takeaways. Stars of the game. The third star. With the game-tying goal late in the third period, number 28, Timo Meier. We don't care about Noah Dobson as a second star. And the first star from the Devils with the overtime winner, number 63, Jesper Bratt. What a performance for the Bratter. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. Wow. I wish I could have been there. Wasn't in the cards for tonight. But we get to the player stats here. Let's see what jumps off the page. In his return, Cody Glass, obviously, with that first goal, 4 shots. Palat with a goal, 2 blocks and 4 hits. What a game for Pally. Hopefully he starts producing regularly. That'd be awesome. Timo with a goal, 5 shots. Paul Cotter, 3 hits. Gritsuk, 2 shots, 2 hits. Jack Hughes, 2 assists. 6 shots. Wow, I knew he had some shots. 6 is a lot. 6 shots, 1 block and a hit. Dawson Mercer, we had an injury scare from him. I mean, I thought Dawson was hurt in the first period. He left for a little bit and then did return. Super scary stuff. The Mercer thing. And then Dougie gets hurt. So, we can't have nice things. We get Glass back. Now Dougie's out. I'm at a loss for words, guys. We'll talk more about the injuries in a minute. Let me look at the D here. Brendan Dillon, 2 hits. Siegs with 4 hits and 4 blocks. What a game for Siegs. Okay, 4 blocks and 4 hits. Love to see it. And Markey, obviously, not a great game. He stole the 2 points in LA. Probably his best performance as a Devil in quite some time. Not a great one tonight, but it is what it is. We found a way to win, and that's all that matters. I'll take the 2 points. But Markey with 16 saves on the 19 shots. And that is your player stats from this game. And now, obviously, we get to the comments, my friends. We get to the comments. Let me take a look. What do we have here? I saw you guys fighting with Jonathan G. He got put in timeout. Tasha, what's up? Markey had some magnificent saves. One really good one early on in the whole building went crazy. Yeah, he had some good saves. And that's kind of been the thing with Markey. He makes these ridiculous high-danger saves, and then he kind of lets in crap goals sometimes. And a lot of people get on him for it. I mean, I'm just hoping we get consistent play from him, and he really dials it in. I do like Markey. You guys know, my thoughts on Markey are well documented. I am a big fan. And he does make some of those ridiculous saves, and then he just lets in some stinkers sometimes. You're like, whoa, but overall, I'm gonna roll with Markey no matter what. Tasha, first goal was ridiculous. Zach, a Rags fan. Oh, he's talking. This is the fighting with Jonathan G. He's in timeout. Ryder told him, imagine being a Rangers fan and a Devils fandom post-game, especially on a night we don't play each other. It takes a special kind of special for that. Matthias, am I the only one who thinks Luke had a bad game tonight? Also think Nemitz had a good game. I mean, listen, again, Luke's 22 years old, guys. There's going to be plays where you're like, what was that? I mean, it's going to happen. He also has great plays too. So, unfortunately, with young kids, you got to take the good with the bad. And it is what it is. Epic says, Luke didn't look great. He also had 30 minutes of ice time. Oh, yeah, I meant to is time on ice on here? It is. So the defense, obviously, yeah, Luke had 28.56. Oh, my God. That's totally insane. I knew it was high. I was going to probably guess like 25. Yeah, 28.56. Yeah, you got to rely on young horses when guys like Dougie go down. It's super unfortunate, but yeah, what an outing for Luke Hughes. 28.56 is quite the strain. Zach says praying Dougie is back soon. Yeah, I think that's a lot of us, Zach. The injury bug continues to decimate this club, and hopefully it ends. But, I've never seen anything like it in any sport. This many guys going down. Bobby, thank you for the super, sir. What a win. No thanks in part to Mark. You guys are brutal. How many soft goals is he going to let? Good God. Also a bit concerning how we can't finish grade A chances. Game could have been a blowout if we could finish. Let's go Devils. Thank you, Bobby. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. We've seen some soft goals from him. We've also seen some big-time mega saves. But as far as finishing grade A chances, yeah, sometimes that happens, The Devils did get some really good looks on some of those power plays. Some lucky saves, I think, were made. But in the end, just be happy, Bobby. We got 2 big points tonight, Bobby. But thank you for the super. What a win for the Devils. And, yeah, ideally you'd like to see some of those grade A chances get converted. But sometimes you're going to be snake bitten. And it seemed like it was going to be one of those games, if I'm being honest. In that third period, I was a little dejected, hoping for the best. Everyone's asking, how did he get hurt? I don't think we know. And someone asked after the game in the Sheldon Keefe post-game press conference if it was an upper or lower body injury, and Keefe didn't really like that too much. He didn't like it too much at all. So, I think he's probably just fed up with all of the injuries. And I would be too. I mean, every time this guy, Keefe, gets a guy back in his lineup, it's like, who's the next guy out? And sure enough, Glass in, Dougie Hamilton out, like clockwork. It's super unfortunate. It's a part of the sport, but it certainly seems to have been happening to the Devils much more than other teams. And there's tons of other teams with a lot of injuries too, but this is now years and years of this with the Devils, and something's got to give, man. I just don't know. Jeter Toker, thank you for the super, sir. No offensive threat from the blue line without Dougie. Oh, Jeter, did you forget about the run of Brendan Dillon? Norris Trophy hopeful? No, I mean, obviously Dougie is our best offensive defenseman, in my opinion, and, Luke would be a second. Hopefully Luke starts picking it up a little bit in Dougie's absence. I mean, and hopefully Dougie's not gone for long, but we don't know, and it's another one of these just super crappy feelings that we're just going to all be sitting here now waiting for the report on Dougie and how long he's out for. I think someone either took a picture or they showed Pesci with like a cast on his hand. That was asked about in the post-game press conference to Sheldon Keefe as well, and he was like, I made it pretty clear that he's going to miss a bunch of time. So, it is what it is. Another game, another injury, and they got to just buckle down and figure it out. I'm very curious who is going to be the next one. Who did they call up the other day? Did they call up Addison? I think they're probably going to leave Casey in the minors, I would think, for now. And so I do think we now may see somebody else get a chance. They called up Colton White. Okay. Yeah, so we might see Colton White get a crack here with Dougie out of the lineup. I mean, it's just so crazy, guys. You really can't figure it out. And it's another just blow on the season, and it sucks. And it sucks. But for the people that think the team's just going to perform at the same level with all these injuries, I mean, it's psychotic, guys. And it's not to excuse it. The guys got to step up, and you can't play the way they did on most of the West Coast, the Western road trip. It's just not acceptable, even with all the injuries. But there is going to be a drop-off in play. It is impossible to sustain what the Devils looked like during that 8-game winning streak with 5 and 6 guys out of your lineup. I mean, it's just such a significant percentage. And now we're going to be dealing with the injury to the single biggest player. Up until this point, it was Pesci. We had some bottom 6 type injuries, and the Devils were able to kind of plug and play guys, move some guys around, make some new lines, and it was all good for a while. But then it all started to come to a head when Pesci went down, obviously. Brett Pesci, huge part of the defense, huge part of this team. And then as a result, the pairs got mixed up. You got Chalowski in, Lukehughes playing on his offside. And that's never an ideal situation to be in either. And now Dougie goes down, and it's like, man, this team can't catch a break with injuries. And I did talk about it in a previous video. For all the people talking about like the medical staff and stuff, like it's crazy. How are you going to blame the medical staff for this? This goes beyond anyone's fault. This is just a curse. It's a curse. But thank you, Jeter. Appreciate it. This team is cursed with all of these injuries. There's no other way to rationalize it. What's it to? He says, only team left undefeated on home ice. Very nice. Yeah, maybe this is going to be the year that the Devils are just dominant at home. I think a lot of us have been waiting for it. I think a couple years ago, the Devils were amazing on the road, and they seem to have their struggles at home. Not this year. The Devils look like a different team at Prudential Center. Unbelievable. Delish is starting to like Timo too. Fight me again. Alex, let's go. We do what we got to do to win 6 in a row at home. Absolutely. You love to see it. 6 in a row on home ice. Nick, absolutely gutsy win. Yeah, a come from behind. After blowing the lead, they didn't roll over and give up. They just stuck to the game plan, waited for their moment, and Timo comes up big. Timo comes up big with the extra attacker. Love me some Timo. Garrett, pretty and gritty, nice goal to tie it up by Timo. Timo the Bull. Timo the Bull Meyer, and if you haven't come around on Timo yet, I don't know when you're gonna. Jump on the bandwagon now. Don't wait too long. My samurai sword is getting sharpened. You guys already know. John NJ Devils 45. Gutsy win. I'm entertained. Yeah, that is a big-time win. And they needed it badly. You know, going 1-3 on the West Coast road trip, if they came home and then blew a lead and lost the game, there would have been 4 losses in their last 5. Like, I can't imagine what the online situation would have been with people commenting about how bad this team is and all of that. Like, everybody just relax. This is an 82-game season, and we are in the first week of November. Enjoy it, guys. We already had an 8-game heater. You know how many fan bases are not going to see a single 8-game heater this entire season from now through April? We saw one in the month of October. We are blessed individuals. Count your blessings. We already have an 8-game heater under our belts that was done by Halloween. Unbelievable stuff. People talking. Okay. Yeah, definitely a turnaround from years prior. Delicious. Game was exciting hockey. Don't care if it wasn't perfect. Fight me harder. I'm going to have minimal complaints on a night where we pick up 2 points. John NJ Devils 45. Love the boys winning at home. Rob, Saturday, I want to see my favorite line this year. Grits, Glass, Brown. Absolutely love that line. And they were looking pretty dominant on some nights. I'm curious to see, you know, going forward, if there's any other kind of experimenting what the lines will be. But it seems like for now, we're going to see a little bit of tinkering here and there. And excited for Brown to come back. You know, this is now, what, his 3rd game he missed? I mean, it really sucks. What another big loss to this team. Dogzilla Nemitz pass was sick. Yeah, it was a really nice behind the back. All right, I got to skip ahead here, guys. You already know the deal. Apologies if I kind of gloss over your comment just because I'm scrolling fast here, trying to get back to, you know, more current comments. Woodson says, Chalowski better than Casey means it's time to trade Casey. I'd be curious what his trade value is at the moment. Obviously, with a lot of defensemen with some value, Devils needing forward help, it's something that is no surprise to anyone. We've talked about it for quite some time, that are some of these pieces going to be cashed in? I don't know. Casey's definitely a potential. You'd have to believe Nemitz could still be a potential. Even though I believe it would be foolish, there's still the potential for Dougie to be traded, I guess, prior to the injury. And depending on what the injury is, that may not change it too much. But you would think one of those 3 defensemen could be dealt at some point this season. All right, trying to catch up here. John Fay says, the Brat Man, every goalie's worst nightmare when on a breakaway. What a finish. What a finish on the backhand. Gets the legs open and just, whoop, slides it right on the ice, right through. Dogzell says, I like what I've been seeing from Chalowski. Maybe getting consistent play, he will prove to be a good 7th D-man. Yeah, I mean, listen. Fitzy's talked about it, and you've heard other GMs talk about it. You need immense depth to win regularly in this league, and you certainly need it on the blue line, and you see it right now. I mean, even with all the depth the Devils have, we could be playing a guy that most people don't even know who he is in the next game. And no disrespect to Colton White, but there's going to be tons of people that are like, who the hell is that? And that happens when you have 3 of your regular top 6 defensemen injured all at once. Kovacevic, Pesci, and Dougie Hamilton all out, and now you have Chalowski and potentially Colton White in the lineup. The depth is almost never enough. It's just crazy. It really is crazy. Scroll on the comments in here. What's it to? Thank you. Yeah, don't forget to like the video. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Don't be stingy now. Hit the thumbs up for your boy and for your New Jersey Devils. What a win. What a win. Benjamin says, shocked we won. Frankly, this game could have been a disaster. Completely agree. Once the Devils went down 3-2, I did think it was probably over. I remained hopeful, but in my head, I was like, this is going to be a terrible night on the post-game show, because for those of you that have been rocking with me for the past few nights, past week, after some of those games on the West Coast, it was pretty ugly in here. And I just had to kind of sit here and do my best to mitigate some choppy waters with the Doomers, because they're out in full force after every game now. It seems like they're almost multiplying by the week. Coincidentally, they go pretty silent when the team is playing well, but as soon as there's a little rough patch, these people are out in full force. And I was just getting kind of like visions of what this show would look like had the Devils lost, and I am so glad that they did not. What a win for the Devils. Delish says, how good will it feel when the Devils win the Stanley Cup and we all jump on Ace's stream after? I'll be honest. It's funny you mentioned that. I made a promise to myself as a young, I guess I was 17, almost 18, during the 2003 Cup Finals, after the Devils won. And I wasn't, that was the year I was graduating high school. It was my senior year. After that, I said, as a promise to myself, I said, if the Devils are ever in a potential cup clinching game, no matter where it is, for the rest of my life, I will be at that game. And so in terms of a stream if the Devils win a cup, I mean, I would stream something, but I wouldn't be in here. That's for sure. I would be at the game and engaged in whatever kind of, post-game whatever. So it would be a very different looking stream, but I certainly would love to be streaming and talking to all of you after the Devils capture the 4th Stanley Cup in franchise history. Wouldn't that be something special? That would certainly be special. Ryan DeMann, Devils now 6-0 at home this season. Dean Smith, good night and good luck, everyone. Nice to go to bed happy. Big thumbs up for Ace. Thank you, sir. You're going to sleep well tonight, Dean. Your New Jersey Devils gave us 2 big points. John, what is worse, that Keefe didn't say anything on or about Dougie, so we don't know if it's serious or just a scratch? I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but the fact that he never came back to the game, I am officially worried. Big time worried. Doug Zell says, Montreal's a super quick team. Marty St. Louis has been doing a good job with them. Yeah, he has. Good former players don't always make great coaches, and sometimes they do. It seems like Marty is one of the guys that is going to have a decent coaching career after his playing career. A playing career that saw him win a Stanley Cup and be enshrined in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Ryder says, the player that deserves the most attention to me passed the eye test. Siegs had his best game of the season. Yeah, I think he had 4 blocks and 4 hits when we went over the stats. I mean, that's quite a stat line for Siegs. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Smash the like. Thank you. Tasha says, that's Mark in a nutshell. Insane saves and absolute softies. Yeah. All right. Let me see. It's far behind again. Robert says, you got to keep Corey on MSG Network. Haven't lost with him. I like Schneider on the broadcast. I do. I like what I've seen from Corey Schneider, and I don't know exactly what the deal is, if they have like a certain amount of games or, I don't know. I don't think it's every game, though. John NJ 45, Guts, you win. How many games this year? We have to finish with 5 deep. Brutal. Unfortunately, too many. Unfortunately, way too many. We've already seen too many for my liking on the season. And here we are again. A defenseman goes down, and now we got to play with 5. I really am now kind of anxiously awaiting whatever news comes out on Dougie's injury tomorrow. Ryder64 says Markey is a playoff goalie. The harder it is, the better he is, unlike Hellebuck. But, man, he lets in some garbage and it hurts. Yeah. Larry's his first NHL team to 10 wins this season. Robert Markey has a history of letting in early softies. Got to live with it for 2 more years, I guess. What's going on? Devil's Heaven. Jeremy Proper, I was a doomer at 3-2. Yeah, I mean, I was dooming to myself. But Bobby, Luke has no part being on power play 1. Also, I guess all he does is pass. Either have Nemitz or Dougie on power play 1. At least they shoot the puck. You know, Dougie always likes to put it on net. But, looks like we're not going to have that option for quite some time now. It sucks. It really sucks. The insane Pollock. We need a new bet on Kalshi. Devils get a player back tonight. Will they have another injury? It would have to be a favorite. It would have to be like minus money. That'd be like a minus 250. Ryder64, honestly, I like Nemitz on the power play. If anything, the kid likes to pinch, and we're better to do it. We could potentially see it now with Dougie being out. We might see it for some kind of consistent stretch. Maybe it's a big opportunity for him to kind of bring his game to the next level. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Woodson says, I keep saying it. We are the same team. The injuries just haven't hit the forwards yet. I hope it doesn't, but won't be surprised if it does. We're not the same team, Woodson. You're living in an alternate reality. We are not the same team. Last year, the 24-25 Devils would have definitely lost tonight's game. And some of the other ones that we had won as well. I just, and when we were down 5-0 in what was it, San Jose, I guess? Was it San Jose where the Avalanche game. They're down 5-0 and scored the 4. Yeah, what would the final score of that game have been with last year's Devils? They would not have scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. You've already seen, and aside from, the obvious 8-game winning streak, the 4 goals in 4 minutes when you're down 5-0, there's been plenty of signs of depth scoring somewhat consistently. I just can't see how you could really, with a straight face, Woodson, say that this is the same team, because it's certainly not. Devil Heaven, this is a win we needed back in the Rock. All right, I got to go. Keeping up with the Devils, I wanted Ethan Edwards. I hope we see him at some point. With all these injuries, I've been high on Edwards for a while. A lot of you have heard me talk about him in the summer development camp and the prospect challenge. He looked good every time I've seen him. I'm not justifying any upcoming losing streak. I don't think there's going to be a losing streak, and I certainly wouldn't justify it. Ariel, I was at the game in the club section. It was a beautiful victory, and I was with my buddy, and I was wearing my Jesper Bratt jersey. Lucky wedding gift. Also got a video of the overtime. So beautiful. Nice. Glad you had a good time at the Rock, man. What a game. What a game to witness. Ryder. Woodson usually, with his nonsense, is not like, I wouldn't say he's a habitual line stepper. He's definitely negative, but there's like a classy way to be negative, and I think Woodson's probably mastered it. Yeah, I'm not doing any more than more normal amount. Oh, it's so true, Woodson. Devil Heaven, we played a good game versus a great team. Beachmaster, injuries are not accidents. What do you mean by that? What does that mean? Injuries are not accidents. I don't know what that means. Woodson says, Mercer is carrying this team. Who would have thought? What a season for the dog, huh? What a season for the dog. Unhinged Devs fan says, do we see the snake in net Saturday? Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't even really think about that. Do we see Jake Allen in the next one? Let me just see. It's Sunday, Saturday afternoon, and then Monday night. So you're talking that's over. I would not be shocked. Yeah, I'm curious to see. It's very hard for me to I've talked about this before, in terms of like the goaltending rotation. It's hard for me to kind of get an idea of where their head's at, because we've seen, I don't know. It's pretty erratic for me sometimes and hard to predict. I don't know who we will see, but I think if I had to bet on it, I'd probably bet Allen. But I don't know, because we have Monday's the Islanders, then Wednesday on the road, Chicago. A five-game road trip. So after the Monday game against the Isles, the boys are gone and don't play again at home for 2 weeks. I hate those long stints. Angel says, fans need to gather outside of the Rock and burn a personal item to banish the curse of glass bones. I don't know that that'll work. Selected Boy, what's going on? He says, what's up, Devils folks? What a clutch win by the boys. Clutch indeed. Woodson says 4 goals in 13 games. I mean, that's probably under what Timo should score. I mean, let me do the math exactly. I could do it in my head roughly, but that's a 25-goal pace. Ideally, you'd like to see 30. I'm always looking for 30-30 out of Timo. But, and again, this is not an excuse. When you starve my man of power play one time, the production is not going to be what many people are expecting. When you look at big-time producers across the league, a sizable percentage of that production is coming on the power play. And yeah, Timo usually sees some, garbage time on power play too, but he's really got to start getting those power play one looks. He's a beast. Beast. Tasha, I'm probably overreacting. I was going a little crazy, but it's been a really tough week. I needed this one bad. You ain't kidding. You are not kidding. We needed this one big time. Daniel, love the spread of scores tonight, all from guys who haven't scored in a while. Absolutely. Like to see it kind of spread all over the board. Snow Devil, really liked Glasser's offensive game tonight. I think most people don't appreciate what we were missing with him out. Really glad he's back. Yeah. A big part of the bottom 6 resurgence, as was Connor Brown. And hopefully we see him back soon. I'm starting to get worried about that because it was just like this phantom injury that happened out of nowhere. No one knew what happened. And next thing you know, they're like, oh, he might be ready he might not miss the game. And then he missed the first game. And then he missed the second game. And now here he is missing the third game. Like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little uneasy about it. I definitely don't like these types of scenarios. And I hope he's back sooner than later. We are blessed to see an 8-game heater so early, for sure. I mean, wow, we got. Everyone was asking about the 4-game. Like, are they finally going to win 4 games this year? And the boys took care of that in Game 5. The 5th game, we lost the first game, and then Game 5 was our 4th win in the 4th win in a row for the first time in 3 years. Keeping up, the Devil says, I'm sure a lot of people wanted to trade Nemitz and Mercer in a second for Ryan O'Reilly, and that take aged amazing. I mean, I always thought that was kind of an overpayment. Some of these hypothetical trades that pick up traction online, some of them are just completely insane to begin with. I always thought that one was probably a really wishful thinking from a Predators fan. Woodson says Mercer is making Timo look decent. David, guys, we have to be patient with Luke. He's going to get better and better. Yeah, 22, man. I mean, what were some of you guys doing at 22? I mean, some of you are 22, but for the older folks, like, what the hell were you doing when you were 22? Max, Glasser shot surprised me tonight. Looks sneaky quick like Grits. Not as good, but sneaky good. I agree. And I do think Grits is going to be a special player for us. Selected Boy says, I'm lucky to witness a 13-game win streak in the 22-23 season. That was a fun one. That was definitely a fun one. All right, let me cut ahead here. I keep getting derailed. All you chatty folks, like I said, guys, winning cures all. Winning makes a lot of you very chatty, as does the losing, but I certainly enjoy the winning chatter much more than the losing chatter. There's no comparison. All right, what are we? It's 10:43 right now. Ace won't be doing a live of Win a Cup. I'd have to do some version of it. It would not be. It would be a totally different version than this, but it would be very different. But what a night that would be. I mean, there would be. I will tell you this: if we ever win a cup, I promise you guys, if the Devils win a cup, it would be the most epic summer in Running with the Devils history. The videos that would come out. I dream about this sometimes. I dream about the Devils winning a cup and how much fun the following summer would be. And wow, I just need it to happen. My God, like I said, seeing the Devils win the third cup in person live when I was 17 years old in 2003. Never thought I'd be sitting here 22 and a half years later, just hoping to see one more before I croak, leaning on the samurai sword. What's going on, Maria? What a game, boys stuck with it. Yes, they did. The Never Say Die New Jersey Devils. Timo Meier ties it up late, and Bratter sends him home. David, if Dougie's out, all three of our starting right-hand Ds will be injured. A few fans might not consider converting Seamus Casey to a winger. A few fans might consider. I feel like people have talked about this for like a year. I think it's one of the most ridiculous things ever. I just cannot see it happening. This does not regularly happen at the NHL level. This is not like Pee-wee hockey. You're like, oh yeah, little Johnny, is good on D, but we have defense. Let's put little Johnny on right wing. Like, they're not doing that in the NHL. Keep it up. The Devil says you can stream after we win a cup, but people will complain about Luke or about Palat. People are going to complain about something. Always going to complain about something. Here, Todd says my post-cup stream would be the live courtroom feed as I pled guilty to disorderly conduct and being drunk in public. P-Funk says, just saw what appeared to be the Dougie injury. It was such a nothing play, no hard contact. Dude is literally made out of glass. Oh, man, I hope not. I just want him back. Siegs was a beast tonight. Hater Tots with how often our defense goes down. Maybe we should ride 7D. I don't know. I think that'd be drastic. I mean, you'd have to believe at some point this has to stop, but it's crazy. Max, Ace, we are on track for 400-plus man games lost. Oh, my God. The record was the 21-22 Montreal team with 696 man games lost. How is that even possible? That's the equivalent of some quick mental math here. That's like 8.5 full seasons. How does a team get that in a year? 8.5 full seasons? Crazy. Alan says, Ace, I know I've said this numerous times, but in my opinion, Cotter's wasted on this line and can add so much more. Yeah, I like Cotter too. I think he has a lot more to give, but in the end, for whatever reason, the coaching staff has not given him an extended, opportunity with, more playing time on a top two line. We've seen a couple shifts here and there with peanut butter and jelly. We've seen him some other places, but there's something about his game that they like him in that bottom six. But I love Paul Cotter. One of my favorite players on the roster. That ate a peanut butter and jelly for under $1. Oh man. All right, let's see. What's going on, Natural Canopy? Tasha said it was brisket. Now I remember why we stopped eating at the Rock. Fairly mediocre sizing as well. Are you talking about this is the $25 sandwich? Guys, arena food's not cheap. It hasn't been for quite some time. I do wish there were some more, affordable options for everybody at the game. But like in the end, you already know what you're in for. Just like at the airport, they know they have what they call in the industry a captive audience, and they're like, you're hungry and you're at a hockey game. You're going to buy food and you don't have an option. So you're going to buy this. I think this in the preseason, I think I had the $22 chicken sandwich. It was decent, but to me, there's no sandwich on the planet worth $22 unless you're talking about some like real gourmet Italian stuff or a sandwich from Talercio's in, is that in Middletown? But shout out to Talercio's Deli. They have some ridiculous sandwiches, well worth the money. But a chicken sandwich at the Rock for $22, it's a little steep for my liking. It was a decent sandwich, but I mean, come on. Max says I missed the gyros at the Rock. When did they have that? I don't know that I ever remember those. P Funk says, "How can you watch this team and say they're the same team?" Yeah, I don't know. Richard, what's going on? Ugly win, but this is a game we would year midway through the third period. Are there still things that need to be cleaned up? Yes, but we found a way to win. Yeah, give me the 2 points. Give me the 2 points. Woodson again says we are the same team. Maria says last year we would have rolled over and died. I completely agree with you, Maria. Tasha Wise plotting the top 6 over Cody Glass. Glass gets in the dirty areas too and has way more points. It's because Glass plays center, and he's obviously not gonna take a spot from Jack or Nico. And so as good as it gets for Cody Glass is third line center, which, I mean, on some teams he'd be a 4C. He'd be a fourth line center. So I'm sure he enjoys playing up a line on the third line with the Devils. Brendan says, I love my New Jersey Devils. Jonathan, $25 after taxes is crazy for a sandwich. Yeah, it is. It really is. Unhinged Devs fan, finding ways to win now versus finding ways to lose last year. I like that. They did find all kinds of ways to lose last year, some of them in more devastating fashion than others, but this team is finding ways to win, whether they dominate the game or they don't play well. They have the personnel to get it done and to come back from deficits. We've seen it several times on the season now, whether it was a 1 or 2 goal deficit. The Devils have weapons to claw back and can do it in a hurry, seemingly. I'd like to see more kind of goals in bunches like we saw in Colorado. It's a shame it didn't happen until the boys were down 5-0, but they scored 4 goals in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. I mean, that's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination in the NHL. And to see the Devils have that kind of firepower to be able to do that, it is encouraging. In the end, it still wasn't a loss, and so it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But it was at least, and I hate silver linings and moral victories, but that was kind of a little one for me personally after that ugly game against the Avalanche. Devil Heaven says, Ace, thank you for what you do. Thank you, Devil Heaven. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for coming out and talking New Jersey Devils hockey. What a season I'm hoping for, but what a win tonight. Great win. Robert says, even cup-winning teams are going to lose 20-plus games. That is correct. But, a lot of people don't want to live with the facts. They just have whatever idea it is they have in their head, and they kind of run wild with it. Faye says, Woodson is what I can call a truth doomer. He dooms, but he also tells the truth most of the time. Taj, I swear they upped the prices from last season. I'm pretty sure just in the world, the prices go up every year on almost everything. It's called inflation. Now, a lot of things go up way more than the rate of inflation, but whatever gets cheaper. And I've talked about this with some of my buddies. The only thing I can remember in my entire life that got cheaper over time is literally flat screen TVs. Oh, no, there's 2. And Grey Goose vodka. Flat screen TVs, when I was younger, I remember when they first came out, like even like a 42-inch or something of like the thin flat screens, they were like $2,200, $2,500. And this is years ago. So it's even more expensive relatively back then when they first came out. Dude, now you could go get like what will you get at Best Buy? You get like a 65-inch flat screen for like $500, $400. Crazy. And Grey Goose vodka. I remember that was like $40 for a 750 milliliter bottle when I was in college 20 years ago. And it's like the same price now for a handle, the 1.75 liter. Gotta love it. I would love to see hockey tickets get cheaper over time. That'd be amazing. Woodson said the 4 games I've been to, I chose to starve rather than risk it. 4 games this year, Woodson, or 4 games ever? Evan says Timo Meyer. True Patriot. Pasha stated this team is cursing me to sacrifice. Man. Justin says, hi, everyone. Tasha Markey on the next one. Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about who's going to start next game, but I'd be fine with whoever. I only get super opinionated on who I think should start if like one of the goalies is clearly hot and there's ample rest. I'm all about riding the hot hand. I've talked about that a million times. So always down to ride the hot hand. Right now, I'd say there is no hot hand. Markey was, now he's, won his last 2 games. Didn't have a great game tonight, but the game before in LA was one for the ages. Rob C, is there any new food at the Rock that's worth eating besides chicken tendies and fries? A lot of people have talked about the Heritage Kitchen or the East Back Kitchen. They have a lot of new stuff. I've been meaning to venture out onto the concourse more and try some food. So, guys, I know for those of you that like the food stuff, which is more of you than the people that don't like it, I'll be doing some of that relatively soon. Habitual Line Stepford, love the Dave Chappelle reference. Good times. What an epic show. A show that was so ahead of its time and just has some all-time, basically, Chappelle Show basically birthed a bunch of slogans and catchphrases. They'll have him put your devil horns together for the Mercenator. David, Mercer doesn't play small anymore. Been dog on bone in board battles. Yeah, it'd be nice if he got a little bit beefier too. Love Dawson Mercer, and you guys know my thoughts on him as well. All situations guy, love it. Iron Man streak. There's nothing not to like about Dawson Mercer, and he's only 24 years old. He's going to get better. Woodson says 2-hour drive, 1-hour train ride, 4-hour game. No thanks, I'll die of hunger. David says, no covering for Markey having a bad start to the season, not dooming him. Hated contract, but he could get hot at the right time, and he is a competitor. Agree with all of that. I do think when Markey is dialed in, like he was at the Kings in LA against the Kings, he looks like one of the best goalies in the league. Now, can we consistently see that from him? That remains to be seen. We haven't yet. I'm hoping that at some point in the very near future, we do see that from him. But when he is on, he is scary good. And look no further than that LA game. He literally stole that game. If not for Markey in Los Angeles, the Devils would have been 0-4, a winless West Coast road trip, which, I guess how many more levels to the dooming is there after? Because after the road trip, some of the stuff people were writing was just completely insane. I'm wondering in my head, how much worse would it have been if they were 0-4? It probably would have been. Honestly, we need to pray to the Egyptian and Native American gods and have a plot sacrifice to rid the injury, bug, plague, demon that is inside the Devils organization. I do believe in, I don't know what you want to call it. I want to say some sort of curses and bad luck. And this is not to complain or whatever, but I will say in the past few years, I feel like I have been personally kind of cursed in that a lot of things that I thought should have happened or results I was looking for in some aspect of life that all signs would indicate this thing would play out this way, and they don't. And I do think it's just either, cursed, bad luck, but I certainly believe in it because I feel like I'm kind of going through a phase in my life like that right now, personally. And the Devils' injury kind of feels the same way. It's just like they can't catch a break. Nothing goes their way. And that's how I feel. But it really sucks. And we hope it ends soon. But we keep saying this. And it's like, yeah, Glass came back. Awesome. We're getting close to healthier. Glass is back. Hurrah. And then Dougie goes out. So one step forward, one step back. Or actually, in this case, with no disrespect to Cody Glass coming back and Dougie getting injured, I would say is one step forward and 2 steps back. Because Dougie, at this juncture, with Kovacevic and Pesce already down, losing Dougie for an extended period of time would be just disastrous. Disastrous. I actually talked about this, I don't know, it was either after last game or the game before, in reference to when we were talking about Dougie in the summer when tons of people were like, trade him. And I was adamantly against it because I said, I don't like playing a lot of kids on defense all at once. And that's likely what would have happened in the event we traded Dougie Hamilton. And I said something along the lines of, can you imagine this team right now as of today without Dougie with the injuries we already have? And sure enough, here we are. The next game, we are likely going to be without Dougie Hamilton on top of being without Kovacevic and Pesce already. And they're going to have to figure it out. If it's Colton White that's in there, I hope he steps in and can give us some good minutes and not be a liability because no one's replacing Dougie Hamilton, obviously. hopefully someone could just be an admirable kind of fill-in for as long as they are needed. But I do feel pretty down about the injuries overall because it's just crazy. You can't have seasons where this many guys get injured. It's insane. John njdevils45, another massive game Saturday. What a start to the season. You'd love to see it. Love to see it. The boys are now 10-4, hosting Sid in the Pens on Saturday. I would love to see another Big Devils win on home ice to improve to 7-0. Can it happen? P-Funk says Timo needs to be on the power play 100%. Pyro, Hugs Race, what's going on, Pyro? Woodson says food is where they get you. Tickets are very affordable at The Rock. For most games. For most games, they are. Richard says Timo needs to be on power play 1. All right, now we got to get it. We fell far back again. Tasha says, Ace, back me up. NJ has some good food. I would say that's an understatement, Tasha. I would say New Jersey probably has some of the best food in the country and probably the world overall because of our proximity to New York City with all the different diverse types of restaurants there are. Yeah, New Jersey's certainly very high on the list in terms of food. You have great Italian, you have great Asian, you have great, every ethnicity you could think of that has restaurants and specialties. There's a pretty good version of that in New Jersey. Walt says, I don't know if this has been answered since I just got to working on the stream, but was there any update on what happened to Dougie? No, they wouldn't specify if it was upper or lower body. I think someone said maybe some news came out since I've been on here, but I haven't seen anything definitively. And you guys already know how it is. Everything's close to the vest, very secretive, very hush-hush. So maybe we will find some more information out. I mean, I expect something tomorrow, but it could be something as simple as, he's still being evaluated and yada, yada. We're not going to know till tomorrow, but I really, really hope that he doesn't miss a lot of time because a decor without Kovacevic, Pesci, and Dougie really is just nightmare stuff. I mean, how does that even happen? It's just, wow. There's nothing to say, really, at this point. I firmly believe it's a curse. Delish says, I look forward to not only Ace's post-cup stream, but Woodson being there. Oh, boy. Honky Lip says, we get the same information on Devils injuries as we do on the drones flying over Jersey. Why the mystery? That's just kind of how the Devils decide to play. A lot of other teams do as well. But, they don't want to give the opposition too much info, and maybe some teams would, if they knew that he wasn't playing, wouldn't game plan against him. You never want to tip your hand too much, but I do think nowadays some teams take it a little too far. But hopefully Dougie comes back very soon. I'm just very, very nervous about what this diagnosis is going to be because Kovacevic is probably not back till January. At this point, I'm thinking Pesci could possibly be out into mid-December, maybe even late December. And so you're talking about this is not a short period of time. Like we could be maybe without all of these guys potentially until closer to the holiday break. SJ says the fun would be next level if we actually win the cup. Oh, man. Beyond. Even if we win a cup, Ace is going to be so drunk for a month. Probably the entire summer. Probably the whole summer. Tasha, dream about the Devils winning the cup. I dream about the Devils making it past round 2. I mean, listen, an appearance in the Eastern Conference Finals would certainly be something. And I would be very jacked up for that. But winning a cup is something completely different. Yeah, nice, deep playoff runs are nice, but winning a cup is just, it is so interesting because it would be, just like everything else, right? Your perspective and everything kind of changes as you get older. But to think that, the last time the Devils were in a cup finals in 2012, I was 26? Almost 27. Yeah, I mean, and that run was awesome. I went to a ton of playoff games that year as well. Super just fired up for a run that kind of came out of nowhere. And unfortunately, we lost to the Kings. But now you're talking that was 13 years ago, over 13 years ago. My God. We just need to see a cup, guys. We need to see a cup. Slurp says, Markey is way too inconsistent to take this team to a cup. What are we going to do if we make it that far? Goalie rotation? No way. They wouldn't do it in the cup. Unless someone got lit up, and that's not really a rotation. That's just like replacing somebody. I think it'd be Markey, Slurp. Unhinged Dev Sam, bro, if we win the cup, we will go nuts, not if, when. I hope I'm here for it. Amagi, what's going on? Just got home from the game and my voice is completely ruined. You witnessed a beautiful victory. Beautiful victory, Amagi. Hope you had fun. Hope you ate a lot of good food. Woodson, Ace doesn't drink anymore. He's been listening to the good devil on his shoulder rather than the bad one. No, I'm still drinking. I've just cut down dramatically on the hard liquor, but it makes an appearance every now and then. Every now and then the hard stuff comes out. John faces Tasha. If we win a cup, half the people in this chat will be in the hospital. Rob, Ace, next time when you get media credentials, find a source with the Devils medical staff. Find a source and say what exactly, Rob? What would you like me to find out from the medical staff? I also don't know that those folks are like readily available. But I'm curious what you would want to know from them. Oh, I just messed something up in the chat here. Yeah, let me know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what exactly you'd want to know from this medical staff professional. But I don't know that I'll ever get the credentials again, Rob. So could be a moot point. Could be a moot point. That's insane. Max, should we just trade for Quinn now? Not if we have to lose multiple roster players. There is a value to getting Quinn early, but I'm perfectly fine with waiting until free agency and getting him for free and just signing him. That would be nice. Magi said, I had the Heritage Kitchen Center at the game, and it was the bomb. It's Thanksgiving-themed food. So what is Thanksgiving-themed food? Like Thanksgiving dinner? Like it was like turkey and like mashed potatoes and stuffing and stuff? I'm very curious. Red Bank, okay. Dire Wolf, Ducks hung 7 on Dallas tonight. I think we can feel better about that L. They're going to be scary in 2 or 3 years. The Ducks and the Sharks could both surprise teams. I would love to see a Ducks. I think I said this in the live recently. I would love to see, maybe it was a comment. Everything bleeds together, guys. I tried to explain it, but it's just one big continuous whatever. I would love to see down the line a Sharks-Ducks Western Conference final. That would be fun. Lightning says, I'm just happy I get to see Jack play at the Rock on Saturday. Very nice. Very nice. We got a star-studded matchup there. Always nice to see the ageless Sidney Crosby as well as Geno Malkin, 2 just legends of the game. Gyros were 2010 to 2014. Okay. Woodson, I have a Woodson jersey on order. I'm showing up to the Rock to see how many people cuss at me. I don't think it'd be as many as you think, but you might get one. Did Suk get the boot again? Not the newest name. Not the newest name, but one of the older ones got booted. But I haven't seen the newer name aside from the other night. Max, someone might take fists out. Be careful out there. Chaz, what's going on? I think it's great the Devils won, so I have no complaints, but eventually Markstrom will have to be a number 1 goalie. No, I agree, Chaz. Tonight he didn't look like one. We need the guy that we saw in LA, and I think he obviously resides inside that body. Oh, wait a minute. I meant to look. I totally forgot. I was so distracted. I had a lot going on. I've had a lot going on for a while now, actually. I just need some peace in my life, guys. And it feels like it's constant turmoil. But anyway, Markey with that devil's mask, the demon-looking mask over the bearded one that we talked about, that I think that's cursed. I think Markey realized it. So back to the super demon mask. But yeah, Markey needs to be a number one goalie. You're going to see bad games from any goalie on the planet, but we need to see the guy we saw in LA way more frequently. Tosh says, my original plan was to go to the Heritage Kitchen and get the Korean fried chicken bowl, but then I come to find out it's gone. And in its place, some Thanksgiving and a black bean burger. Oh, black bean burger. No interest. I have no interest in that. There's some decent stuff, Tasha. You just got to know where to look. I said before, frequently I'm in the lounges, and so I don't get out on the concourse as much. But I did wander around a little bit during the preseason, but I think there's been some new additions and things since then. I'll definitely try to do some more exploring and see what's going on. Do some more reviews. Four games ever, and I'm undefeated. What years were the games, Woodson? Evan says, are you going Saturday? To be determined. In theory, I'd like to be at every game. But, yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm dealing with a lot right now, folks. Dealing with a lot. Yeah, Randall, it was Timo time, and it was Timo time late. It was late. Where's the picture of Pesci in a cast? Let me see if I can find it. I think I saw it on X. Let me see. Man, I hate technology, guys. You guys already know that, but I'm trying to pull this up. It's not a great quality photo either, but he's clearly wearing a cast, and obviously not the most inspiring imagery one could see when we're all desperately awaiting him to come back. I'll pull it up right now, actually. And there it is, Pesci at the game, I believe, with a cast on his hand. Really, really sucks. But there it is. Cast on the hand. Keith, after the game, said it's going to be a while. So here we are. Hopefully Dougie's not too badly injured. Woodson. No one messed with me when we got lost in Newark. I'm a big guy. Yeah, I mean, I do think people typically, or at least most people that like want to do crime or try to, do some dirt of some kind, typically look for weak targets. And a lot of them will pick on, smaller people, the elderly, women, because they're cowards, and that's what cowards do. They typically don't look for a big guy and they're like, oh, I'm going to go mess with him. I mean, because why would you? There's always easier targets. John faces, how tall are you, Woodson? How much do you weigh? Blackatron, I love to see Timo thriving in the system. He is a force of nature. Blackatron, I am officially the president of the Timo Meyer fan club. The only bull in the top 6. I love me some bulls. And Timo is just a force. And when he's on, Timo time is happening all over the place. Hopefully he picks it back up again and kind of starts streaking a little bit. We saw it early on in the season, and then he kind of cooled off. Woodson only had to get through the wave of homeless beggars in the NJ Transit. I'm like, I'm 6'3", like 250. That's a pretty big boy, Woodson. 6'3", 250. I'd imagine most of the people aren't, looking for trouble, aren't gonna pick it with you because there's easier targets. 6'3", 250 is sizable. Evan the Destroyer says, when Timo uses his size, he does well. He should play more physical and mean. I think that everyone should play more physical and mean, but I'm kind of accustomed to seeing it situationally now, which is still fun. But yeah, I would like it if this Devils team really embraced just physically grinding people into the dust. I do think that could really, really kind of elevate this group. Sean, what's going on? Ace, how you doing? I don't show up to a lot of your streams, but I was at the game today, and I got to say, what a game. Goal with 1 minute left with an empty net and overtime win. Yeah, that's a pretty good recipe for an exciting game, right, Sean? I'm sure tons of people left because that's just what people do. I got to go home to the kid. I got to do this. I got to walk my dog. I don't want to sit in traffic. And so you see people leave early. And in a game like tonight, I don't know how people would, but I'm sure with 2 or 3 minutes left, I'm sure there were tons of people leaving. And shame on those people. But to see a game tied up so late in the third period with Markey on the bench, and then to obviously see a breakaway overtime winner, I mean, what a game, Sean. I wish I was there. Wasn't able to make it tonight. Kind of a topic for another day, but quality win on home ice. Justin, Dougie was hurt. John Fay says New Jersey is iconic for its own food that we come up with. Okay. I have never had Malaysian food. Is there like Malaysian restaurants? I don't know that I've even ever encountered one, actually. Have I ever seen a Malaysian restaurant? I don't think I have. It's possible that I did, and I'm just not retaining it. James Nichols said lower body. Okay. Tasha, D-Court 3 AHL players is the stuff of nightmares. I would agree with that. I don't know who the third one would be, but similar to Thai, I love some chicken pad Thai. I certainly love chicken pad Thai. I was late on the Thai food game. I don't even know. I'll be honest. I don't think growing up in a suburb of New Jersey, northern New Jersey, I don't think I ever heard of Thai food or came across it till I was in college. And that is where I fell in love with chicken pad Thai. What a delicious dish. And I, in college, dated a girl that was half Thai. Her mother made some amazing chicken pad Thai. I still think about it to this day. Full trays of it. Full trays. Evan says all teams hide true injuries until the end of the season. Selected Boy says Pesci is out until December. I'm hoping it's not longer than that. But December's long. Is Pesci out till December 2nd? Is he out till December 22nd? John says, where's the Pradar? And party going to... Oh, parade, I guess. If we do end up winning the cup, they'll probably do some sort of parade in Newark, I'd imagine. True Patriot Ace, do you think we can weather the injury storm? I'm deeply concerned. I mean, it depends on what you mean by weather it. Do I think they could be, now with Dougie out, can they be like an NHL 500 team for a while? I believe they could. And I would consider that weathering the storm. Given all the other injuries, it would suck to see it. And the people that want to complain and cry about everything will certainly be out in full force talking about, I told you guys, this is the same team as last year. And all the other nonsense that they regurgitate left and right. I do think you will see some of that. But weather the storm, I think so. I really do. Max says if we do beat the Canes, it can't be like 2023 where it was our Stanley Cup and had no energy for Carolina. I just think that was a long 7-game series with the Rangers, and I think it took a toll on a lot of our guys. And for a lot of them, they didn't have tons of playoff experience going into that. So that was kind of a very intense series in many ways. Woodson said, I don't ever want to play the Canes again in the playoffs. I want to knock them out at least once. Tasha said, I don't ever want to play the Canes again, period. True Patriot just got home from the game. I can't believe the news with Dougie. I mean, yeah, it's horrible. Completely horrible news. Hopefully tomorrow they're like, oh, psych, it's just something minor. Robert says, were you at the Henrique? It's over. Oh, I certainly was, my friend. I certainly was. Game 6, 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. The New Jersey Devils with a 3-2 series lead, looking to make an appearance in their, that would have been 6th Stanley Cup final. Or no, 5th. Sorry, 5th. 5th at that point. Yeah. 5th Cup final. Randall says, let's say Timo won this game. I mean, Brader won the game, but Timo had a huge role in it. We obviously don't get to overtime without Timo, and so I don't know that I'd say Timo won the game, but I would say Timo prevented a loss. I got to skip ahead again. I read too slow, guys. I'm sorry. Magi says, too high right now on the game results. My mind is fried. I brought 2 first-timers and I had a ball. Very nice, Amagi. He's always doing his part to recruit new Devils fans and dragging them out to games and creating new fans. Good for you, Amagi. Some of you guys should try the same. Bring a friend who's never been to a game to the Devils game and make them fall in love with this team and the beautiful sport of hockey. True Patriot says, told my son tonight that I want 3 things in life now. See him and my daughter have families and the Devils win 1 more cup. Very nice. You got to have your priorities straight, True Patriot. True Patriot, I've heard other fans complain about the medical staff, not blaming injuries on them, but the rehab is bad and not like other teams. What does that mean exactly? I'm super curious. I find it hard to believe that a team that is owned by an ownership group that owns multiple sports franchises, I would have to believe they have some of the best medical care and these types of trainers and everything, period. I could be wrong, but I would believe that that would be what the reality of the situation is. David said, I missed the hand-carved pastrami sandwiches. I remember those. I love a good pastrami. Pastrami's very good. Max says, peace out, Devils Nation. Let's go, Devils. See you all Saturday. Take care, Max. Tasha, probably top out at 11:30. No school today and tomorrow, but I'm working at some camp these 2 days, so I got to wake up early. Got to make the money for an Olympic jersey somehow. Very nice. M. Sharp says, hang in there, Ace. Take one problem or issue at a time. Yeah, thanks. But sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes they kind of cascade one after the next. Sometimes there's double whammies. And some of them are just beyond your control, despite doing the right thing or I'm not going to, there's just a lot. Larry says, I used to stop by White Castle before the games. They still got them there, right? Yeah, there's not a ton of them, but man, White Castle is so good. White Castle truly is just unprecedented deliciousness. True Patriot says 151 watching, 89 likes. Smash the likes. Thank you, sir. Hit it up. I'm getting closer to real time with the messages. Presify, I'd love for someone to try me in Newark or anywhere so I could bench press them into the stratosphere. Oh, man. John Woodson says, everyone is yappy, can't blame him. I do respect he tries to read everyone's nonsense. Yeah, and then I fall too far behind. I mean, what could I do, guys? I'm one person. Well, what a thick bandage is definitely not reassuring. I mean, no, but Paulie, what's going on? Looking forward to watching your vlog for Saturday's game. I'm betting you are going to be there on Saturday. Maybe. Nothing's definite anymore. I have a lot going on, and yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be there Saturday. I would like to be, but I don't know if I will be. True Patriot City of Newark got me for grabbing a spot a block away for 25 on the street. Serious money grab. Damn. I remember in the early days of the Rock, there was a good amount of places you could park for free during games. Granted, some of them were slightly sketchy, but you know, back then I was like, you know what? I'm going to risk my car not being here when I come back on this random street that I have no idea where I'm at. Now I don't park that far away, but in the early days of the Rock, I was definitely very adventurous. True Patriot says, Ace, win or lose, we food. Oh, the food, win or lose, we food is right. We food all the time, and we food hard. Hard fooding going down at the Rock. Boston Bruins with Josiah. Happy OT win for my Bees, but great win by the Devils. Thanks for beating the Habs. You are certainly welcome, Josiah. Faye, I got to say I'm disappointed people left early. I mean, we're down by 1, but real fans would have stayed and supported the team until the final buzzer. If you leave before the end of the game, you ain't a real fan. I'm not going to say that's 100% accurate, Faye. Like, some people have things they can't really be late for or whatever, but in the end, I would say I agree with that to some extent. Richard says, bold. Oh, no. Yeah, mid-December or Christmas. That's a ways away. Tasha said, Penang and East Hanover is a Malaysian spot. Some insanely good stuff, and the guy is super, super friendly. Okay. I have some friends in that area. Maybe the next time I'm in the East Hanover area, I'll have to check it out. Tasha said, never heard of Thai till college is diabolical. But yeah, but Tasha, you're also younger. So, you know, it's maybe not necessarily, it probably wasn't the fact of my age. I think it was more of a function of that was early 2000s. And I think that's when it became a little more prominent and you would see Thai restaurants more often. I could be totally wrong. Robert said, Ace, give me odds on Ovi for 1,000 goals. Wow. I mean, he just got 900. Could he get 33 a year? It all just depends how long he wants to play for. If he wants to keep playing, I think he could definitely get it. Even if he scored 25 goals for this year and 3 more years, it would put him at 100. But I don't know. Why'd you ditch the Chazzy Chaz? It's a long story. I was young and immature. Yeah, I messed that one up. I'm gonna take the L on that one. That one I messed up. I was too young. Bobby says, do we trade for a vet D-man with all these injuries? It's so funny you said that, Bobby. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like to myself, are we one injury? This is obviously before the game tonight. I was thinking to myself, are we one more D injury away, I should say, from having to trade for a defenseman? From starting off the season with such incredible defensive depth, and everyone would talk about how deep the Devils were on the blue line and blah, blah, blah. It's so great. And then we just see the most ridiculous streak of injuries to now where it's like, we have so many injuries. Do we actually need to go find a defenseman? But I don't think so, Bobby. I do think Cholowski will be fine as one of the fill-ins. And I do think someone between the Colton Whites, Ethan Edwards, those kind of, maybe 1 or 2 other guys, but probably mainly be Colton White, Edwards. I mean, you may see Casey again at some point if it comes down to it, but I don't think we need to panic buy and go get a vet D-man. Unless, of course, the news comes back and they're like, these guys are never coming back, or they're not coming back till March. Like, then it's obviously a very different story. Jonathan Decker, thank you for the super, sir. Appreciate you doing the long streams. Devils ASMR isn't for everyone, but there's only so much. What is that? 31 Atlas? What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. What is that? Someone tell me what this means. I'm old. I don't know what this is. What is 31 Atlas? But thank you, Jonathan. Really appreciate it. That's just says as long as Jack and Nico are healthy, we will always have a chance. I mean, it's the NHL. You always have a chance regardless. But even with Jack and Nico healthy, if your entire defense is depleted and injured, that's a lot to have to overcome. John Fay, the hypothetical, says to Woodson, let's say he was to sign Dumoulin, how much do you think he would have given Dumo to stay? Steven, I brought my sister to a Devils game back in 2016. She is a diehard Devils fan now. She never misses a game. Very nice. You got to bring the friends and family. You got to keep recruiting fans. True Patriot players who have come from other teams have said staff not as sharp as other teams could be a thing. Who said that? Evan, my son was born the morning after our 2003 Cup win, best 24 hours of my life. Now he is a fan and we talk Devils all the time. Very nice. If Dougie is truly out on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the odds of Randy Valentine scoring on a point shot, 10 being Jack scoring on an empty net breakaway, what are the odds that Fitz weaponizes the cap? What do you mean by that, David? Weaponizes the cap in what way? Are you talking about LTIR? The loophole is closed to the playoffs this year, so that's why. Okay, that's what I thought he was talking about. Can't weaponize the cap anymore. They took that away. Closing up loopholes. Closing up loopholes. True Patriot says, warm white road, white jersey tonight. Never do that, but just felt right. I like the old, you guys know I love the old school white jersey. Do I have one here? Let me see. I might have one. Oh, the old Scotty was nearby. The old school white home jersey, guys, with that beauty. Look at this stripe. Just look how beautiful this is. This was such a clean jersey, and this is what the boys wore at home forever. And then they switched in 03-04, and then they switched to white on the road, red at home. But this is just such a clean and classic jersey. The home white during the Devils dynasty years. Gotta love it. Gotta love that one. Oh, I'm all busted up. I'm a little busted up. I did a lot of things the past couple days here. True Patriot, by the way, free Chick-fil-A tomorrow because the Devils scored first. Show your ticket. I still don't know how this works, and I'm too lazy to look into it because I just don't care enough to go to the nearest Chick-fil-A to try to get some free nuggets or whatever the hell they give. But can someone explain to me how does this work? I see on the scoreboard, they're like, the Devils scored first. Go get your Chick-fil-A. But, like, yeah, what is the process to actually do it? Back in the day, you would have to show your ticket stub. But as you all know, ticket stubs died a miserable death, I guess, during COVID at some point. Most teams were just, like, decided that they weren't going to actually have physical tickets anymore, which I think is an absolute travesty. I've talked about that on this show many times as well. But basically, this is always last year, I believe. After this, I think he said he's hanging up the skates. Yeah, we've seen this a bunch of times, guys. I'm pretty sure Gene Simmons and Kiss did like 12 farewell tours. So I never believe it till I see it. Evan says, I got season tickets, tipped lot parking first year, give them beer occasionally, and now they know me and getting parking spot perks. Just be nice. It's very hard for some people to be nice. Always kind of slowed this season. Tasha, am I the only one who's always thought that Casey is just trade bait? Like, I really don't see a future for him on this team. With injuries and other guys being traded, I mean, he could go from, assuming that the team believed he was NHL ready, which I think he probably maybe next year. I don't know. It's hard to say. But assuming the team believed in him, you could always be just a couple things away from your big break or your long-term break. Injuries obviously happen a ton to this team. We saw it again tonight. Someone else could get traded to kind of bump him up the chart. But I did think that he was the most likely young defenseman to get traded. But there's a chance he could end up being here for a long time, which I'd be thrilled with if he ends up being a very competent NHL defenseman, which I think he can be. But he did look a little shaky on the West Coast. And, he coming back from an injury, he hasn't played in the NHL in a minute. So it is a lot. I did think they should have given him one more game, but I get it. They desperately wanted, to get some points. Turco, my man Brian Ace, what's your all-time favorite food at the Rock ever? My all-time favorite food at the Rock ever? Ooh. This is not an easy one. Ever? Oh, I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I'm trying to see if I can find a photo for those that don't know. My internet always does this. Of course, when I want to show a photo. Is this browser going to work? To try 15 browsers. One of them should work. All right, there it is. Sorry, we had a little bit of a malfunction. My favorite food at the Rock ever. This is going back a very long time. And I'm biased. But there it is, folks. My favorite food at the Rock of all time. This is probably going back to like the 2011, maybe even earlier. It may have even been, was it the first season at the Rock only? It was short-lived, but it was early on. So it was somewhere between 2007 and 2011, I believe, was, oh, God, bear with me. Sorry, guys. The Jimmy Buff's Italian hot dog. Now, again, full disclosure, I am biased, obviously. Being a fat Italian guy and growing up loving Italian hot dogs, when I saw Jimmy Buff's at the Prudential Center with the Italian hot dog offering, my mind was blown. I'm like, I could eat an Italian hot dog at a Devils game? I mean, what is going on in the world? All of my worlds colliding. Italian specialties, New Jersey Devils hockey. But for those that do not know, the Italian hot dog is, I would get a double, obviously, because I want 2 hot dogs is better than 1. But a hot dog on like pizza dough bread with peppers, onions, and potatoes, like fried potatoes, ridiculous. I get mustard on mine, and that's it. But, man, now I want an Italian hot dog. Oh, my God. I haven't had one in so long. I had this conversation with my mother the other day. I was like, I want an Italian hot dog when I'm too lazy to drive to one of the places I wanted to go to. But that would be it, Turco. The Jimmy Buff's Italian hot dog is probably firmly going to sit in the number 1 slot for me, probably ever. They'd have to come with something crazy to top that for me. Steven says, you're a 32 Atlas at the very... What is this 32 Atlas thing? Can someone tell me? Now I'm going to Google it. What the hell is 32 Atlas? Oh, you guys are talking about, like, solar system stuff? Oh, my God. It's a comet? Yeah, I don't pay attention. I have no idea what the hell that is. I suppose I probably should have known, but no idea. Honky lips. 31 Atlas is wild. It's like some comet that entered our solar system that moves in a way they've never seen before. Okay. RJ says, I got my Jack jersey with no A. It's my favorite at the moment. Can't go wrong with a Jack jersey. Roman Czechmonic, bring back the old uni. It's an obvious one. We'll win a cup if they do. If only it were that easy. But, yeah, I would love to see it make a return at home. John, that'd be a beautiful white jersey. Scotty Stevens, out of this. Yep. M. Sharp, they are coming out of New Jersey, I believe, next season. I don't know if that's been confirmed. But I hope it's black. Please make it a black jersey. It's the jersey we all need and deserve. Ryan Demand says hello. Woodson's talking about playing beer league. RJ wants to know if anyone has a Brad or Stadium Series jersey. He'll give you his 401k. Mark, really like Glasser's game tonight, but boy, it's hard to deal with Jack and Luke's turnovers and decisions. Are they being held accountable for their poor decisions? I mean, what do you mean by held accountable, Mark? I'm sure it comes up in film or whatever, some of this stuff. But in the end, they're obviously both dynamic talents on this team, both a huge part of this team. And when you have guys that handle the puck that often, unfortunately, you're going to see some snafus here and there. You're gonna see turnovers. You're gonna see, plays that maybe shouldn't have been that result in a goal against. You gotta take the good with the bad, pros and cons, and the pros for both of them, in my opinion, far outweigh the cons. And so you live with, what happens. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Paulie, the white Stevens jersey is nice, but I still like the black starter jersey better. I'm wearing that to the game on Saturday. Very nice. The all-time classic jersey. Faye says, I know we all in Ace already talked about this. What kind of jerseys do we as fans want? Be curious to see what you guys say. I think I already have an idea. Antonio, I know I may be in the minority, but I've always hated the jerseys. I never liked it either. I actually, over time, started to hate it less than I originally did, but never really liked it. I feel like they could have done much more, but it's forever a part of our history now, which is kind of cool. The reverse Stadium Series jersey is close to the top of the list for me. No, Woodson, it's not a French fry sandwich. Oh, yeah. John Fay says that is a New Jersey. It's not a New Jersey Italian hot dog. It's just an Italian hot dog. Robert says, Ace, do you think we'll ever see an Ohtani in hockey, a 20-goal scorer and a 20-game winner in net? No, absolutely not. That'd be awesome, but no way. M. Sharp says, never saw the Italian hot dog before. I would pull the potatoes and love it. The potatoes make it. You can't be tinkering with it. It's an amazing dish. Faye says, if you haven't had an Italian hot dog, you're missing out. RJ says, used to live and die by the dirty water dog. Mark says, no doubt, Ace. Jack tries to do too much, and Luke is prone to giving up breakaways, but when they're cooking, they're cooking. Yeah, and again, they're both still very young. Obviously, Jack a vet now in his 7th season, but Luke is, it takes defenseman time to develop. He's only 22. I think he's going to get bigger. He looks, to me, like up close, substantially bigger than he did last season, which is a great sign. Alexander says the white practice stadium jersey was beautiful. Oh, man. It was. I'm not going to count that as like a real jersey just because, it was a practice and not a jersey they wore in a game. But let me see. It was very clean. And here's the jersey that he's referring to. I mean, what a sick jersey with the huge oversized logo. This was only worn at practice. They never made these for sale. Obviously, I thought they would have killed it if they did, but we saw how the league kind of handled the rollout of the Stadium Series jerseys, and it was fairly painful. Hopefully the next time the Devils unveil a new jersey, it's smooth and there's an ample amount of them for everyone who wants one to get one. But I would love a jersey like this too, actually. I never thought of it, but I wouldn't mind a white alternate if it had this kind of character. Now, I think this jersey needs much more to be complete. There's nothing on the waistline or the shoulders or anything, but just the concept of a white jersey with the black logo without the circle with the red outline, it's pretty sharp looking. Larry says, all the people that complain at Jack's turnovers, you think that Colorado fans complain since Nathan McKinnon is usually at the top of the list? Yeah, exactly. These lists are always dominated at the top by star players that are handling the puck a lot. That's just, it comes with the territory. It's pretty obvious. If you have the puck on your stick for a good chunk of a game, you're going to have turnovers. Tasha, I mean, I've gotten better with age, but I just don't like cheese. If it's little or something, it's fine, but especially the cheesy tasting cheeses are a big no. Italian hot dogs are genius. Richard says, my mom made great Italian hot dogs, but sometimes she'd substitute fried/roasted potatoes with tater tots. It was still great, though. That's interesting. Tots in place of the... I might have to try that now. But like, let me get the tater tots on that instead. In certain places, they probably look at you crazy, but... Woodson said, even when we discuss food, I'm a doomer. Roman, I don't know why people actually want the Stadium Series jersey with the giant stadium logo and numbers to be a regular jersey. Because it was a sick jersey. Eliash Engel, I didn't watch the game until the final 5 minutes. How did we do for the game? Not great, not terrible. I'd say somewhere in the middle. Sloppy at times. But in the end, you saw the highlight of the game, and 2 points is 2 points. Love it. Robert says Italian pizza all day. Eliash Engel, the white logo with the devil character on the shoulders would be really good. I'm going to show you guys. This was a... So this is the one. This, back in the day, the first time I ever saw this, me and my buddies all said this needs to be on a jersey, or at least in some capacity. And it's this thing. So the Devils like mail order catalog back in the day at the old arena, and it may have made it to Prudential Center too. I can't remember. I think it did actually early on, but it was called Devil's Den. And look at the skating devil with the hockey stick with the pitchfork. Me and my buddies, when we saw this as kids for the first time, we were like, how sick would it be if we had an alternate jersey with that skating devil with the stick with the pitchfork as either the main logo or on the shoulders as like a alternate logo, like a shoulder patch. But that devil, that skating devil, is absolutely phenomenal. I've always wanted to see it, somewhere on a jersey. And I think as like a shoulder patch or something, it could be phenomenal. But just for the folks that weren't, that's the Devil's Den devil is the greatest thing. We did okay with Mark. You give up a weak one. Faye, 129 people watching and 111 likes. For those of you who haven't hit the like button, what are you doing? Hit that button for your boy Ace and the New Jersey Devils. Thank you, Faye. Thank you. Oh, look, and Evan says hit the like for Ace. He does a great job. Thank you, Evan. Hit the thumbs up. Unhinged Devs fan. I forget why Woodson is a Devs fan. He thinks NJ people are nuts. I've been fascinated with New Jersey stuff since I was a little kid. Favorite uncle, aunt, cousins. Taj said the Team Canada Olympic jerseys are brutal. Kind of reminded me of Devils jerseys too. When did those come out? Was that like a recent thing? Honky Lips, Ace, you coming down with a cold? Please don't end up on the AR2. I think I might be a little bit. I don't know. Sometimes it when it starts to get colder, I get all messed up. I don't know. What are you gonna do? I'll fight through it one way or another. Devils Den wasn't pro. Okay. Robert, any rumors on the next Devils jersey retirement? Pepe, McLean, Arnott. I don't think you're going to see a Devils jersey retirement for quite some time, my friend. I don't think any Pepe. No. I think jersey retirements have to continue to be for the most sacred of the sacred. And while I do think, Claude Lemieux, Johnny Mack, and Arnott are all worthy of the Ring of Honor, jersey retirement's a different story. I don't see any of those jerseys ever getting retired, if I'm being honest. John Fay, I wouldn't mind having the skating devil on a jersey. Would really put the devil into the team. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool logo. Chris said I have a Devil's Den hat somewhere with the skating devil. Nice. I did too, and I lost it over the years. I had a couple of Devil's Den logo things. Tasha, they should really do Lou for the Ring of Honor night. I mean, I think that's the front runner. But I could see him not wanting to do it, or at least not do it now. So nothing will surprise me. But assuming he's on board for it, that is to me an automatic. I made a video about this if you guys want to watch it a month or two ago, I think, when I heard about the Ring of Honor, just talking about different guys. But it should be Lou. Boysen says Devils are the closest hockey team near me that I don't mind. Marty won me a lot of games on PS2 growing up. That's hilarious. Oh my God, the time flies on this thing. Already been over here for a while. Shout out to everybody for coming out. Shout out to those that didn't doom after who didn't doom after this West Coast trip. And I will say to those people that were overreacting and talking smack on the team, if you're not going to be here for the aftermath of a 1-3 West Coast road trip, we don't want you here when we're celebrating our Eastern Conference Finals berth. You will not be welcome to our party. You will not. All right, I'll be right back, folks. Bathroom break time, and then we start winding this thing down. It's near midnight. Thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you got, throw it out. And when I return from my quick little bathroom break, we will go through them and start winding this thing down. But what a beautiful night where our beloved New Jersey Devils had the lead, then squandered it, tied it late on a beautiful Timo goal, and then Bratter just gives us what we all needed in overtime. What a great game. Devils beating Canadiens 4-3, remaining unbeaten on home ice at the Rock, 6-0. Doesn't get any better. But, yeah, give me I like the suggestions thing. I think I've gotten a couple good ideas out of that. Like I've always said, I can't do all of them. But suggestions. Woodson jinxed me, and I hit the button. But there's some interesting news going to be announced tomorrow. But I got out of the bathroom. I just knocked the cord out of the stupid thing. It's super annoying. I might have to get the mixer, guys, for you tech nerds. Just because when you have the mixer, you get that thick cable that just can't come out. This if I sneeze on it, not even sneeze. If I coughed ever so lightly, this stupid micro USB cable would come out of the bottom of the microphone, and David, thank you for doing these shows. Love this team. Bring on the Penguins. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. I love this team too, and nights like tonight are awesome. Nights like tonight are awesome. I can't wait for the Penguins game. Saturday afternoon. The afternoon games always feel a little weird to me. Sometimes I feel like I like them. Sometimes I don't. I kind of go back and forth. There's pros and cons to all of it. But I got to go to the bathroom. I drank a lot of iced coffee and water today. Stay hydrated, friends. But thoughts, comments. I like the suggestions. If you got any good suggestions, throw them out there. Stuff you want to see. But I think tomorrow is going to be a nice announcement for the old-time fans. For the old-timers, I got something real special coming. Really special. Be right back. Hit me in the comments. Now I really want an Italian hot dog. I'm such a fat ass. I really, really want an Italian hot dog. Really do. I'll be right back. Give me some good suggestions, though. And anything else. Thoughts, comments, ask me random questions, whatever. Be back in 2 minutes. Let me start winding it down. Be right back. Got to be careful of the wire here. Woo. All right. The man from Jers. What a game. It was unfortunate seeing so many people leaving with 3 minutes left and us down 3-2. Hope the early ride home was worth missing the comeback. That's a pet peeve of mine, and I get it. I try not to judge people too much because you don't know what their situation is. But, like, you know, why go to a game if you're going to leave? I mean, you know, it is what it is. I would never leave a 3. I stay for blowouts till the end usually. In extenuating circumstances, I think I left one blowout game with like a minute and a half left. But outside of that, I'm usually there to the bitter end. In a 3-2 game, how do you leave? I don't know. Unhinged Devs fan, Scott Niedermayer's jersey retired both New Jersey and Anaheim. His brother played both places too. Well, I mean, with all due respect to Rob Niedermayer, I mean, his career was very, very different than Scott's. But crazy to have it retired at 2 franchises. That's got to be only a few players. There can't be many. Is Yager's number retired somewhere besides Pittsburgh? Probably not. I'm trying to think. Did anyone else play like a good amount of time and win cups? Let's see. Let's see if AI could give me a quick answer. Oh, this was on Reddit 11 years ago. Oh. Wait, Wikipedia. Oh, God. Why is it going to be so hard? Okay, so 12 numbers have been retired by a team. Oh, this is 2 different players with the same number. Why is everything so difficult? 9 legends had their jersey number retired by 2 teams. Okay, so you got Red Kelly, retired by number 9, retired by both the Leafs and the Red Wings. Tim Horton, his number is retired by the Sabres. And where's the other one? He was retired by the Leafs and Sabres. Scotty Niedermayer, as just mentioned. Ray Bourque, 77, retired by the Bruins and the Avalanche. Wow. How did I forget Wah? Patty Wah, retired, number 33, retired by both the Canadiens and Avalanche. Bobby Hull, jersey retired by both Blackhawks and the Winnipeg Jets. Gordie Howe, retired by both the Red Wings and the Whalers. Mark Messier, how did I forget Messier? Retired by the Oilers and Rangers. And Gretzky has his jersey retired by every team, which is crazy. But Oilers, Kings, Rangers all have the jersey in the rafters. Very exclusive club. Turco, my man, Ace, SUV, sports car, or sedan? Oh, I'm an SUV guy all day. You know that. I can't be sitting in a small car. Can't do it. I've had SUVs my whole life outside of maybe a 3-month stint when I was in college. I had a regular car and I hated it. I needed an SUV. I need space. Give me space. Robert Marty's out of retirement. Steve Smith, how are you, sir? How's it going, Ace? That Brat goal was filthy in classic Bratter. Yeah. Love the head fakes. Jason, have you ever jumped through a table and smashed plates on the ground? You seem like a guy that would do that if you're mad. I don't even know what to make of this, Jason. Have I ever jumped through a table and smashed plates on the ground? I can't say that I have. And I'm also curious, is that one action or 2 different actions? Like jumping through a table or smashing plates on the ground? Or do you mean doing them simultaneously, like jumping through a table while smashing plates? I don't know what the heck that is. Anyone got anything else? A table with plates on it? No. I can't say that I've ever done that. I've never done that. Oh, this fan feels so good right now. I mean, I've definitely broke stuff, but not plates or a table. When me and my younger brother would play video games back in the day, we've had some intense battles, whether it was like fighting games, fighting games or sports games. I've smashed PlayStation controllers. Yeah, I think I broke several Sega Genesis controllers and PlayStation controllers amidst battles with my younger brother. Definitely, the most thing I ever broke was by far controllers, without a doubt. Brandon Markey is so confusing, but at least his playoff numbers are respectable. Yeah, you gotta play big when it matters most. Hopefully, he has another monster playoff this year. So, yeah, Steve, controllers, yeah. And then one time I threw the controller and it stayed connected to the system, and the whole system went flying through the air. Terrible. Yeah, I should have thought of a couple of those right away, but my mind is fried right now. But yeah, 9 is more than I would have thought too. Jason, what's going on? Welcome. We've won in this miraculous overtime. What a great steal by Brat. We pulled off this decent upset on Montreal. I bet we can order grass-fed steaks. The Malaysian restaurant, Turco. We gotta go to that Malaysian restaurant. Steve Smith, I'll never forget my older brother breaking the TV remote when we lost 0-1. Oh yeah, I probably broken TV controllers too. I was always somewhat conscious of the things I was breaking though. Like before I would break it, I'm like in my head, I'm like, is this worth the $20? Am I gonna get $20 worth of enjoyment out of this, knowing I have to buy a new one? And most of the time it was like, it'll be close. It'll be close. Smash. All right, guys, that's it. I'm dead. It's been a long couple weeks. Yeah, that's it. Devils won a big one, guys. Lose Dougie Hamilton. Hopefully not for long. I eagerly await the news on that tomorrow. But what a devastating loss, especially if it's for any extended period of time. Devils still cursed by injuries, can't catch a break. But win a big one back at the Rock tonight, beating the Canadiens by a score of 4-3 in overtime on a beautiful Jesper Bratt breakaway. Remain unbeaten at home at the Rock. A perfect 6-0 on home ice. Big one coming up Saturday afternoon against Crosby and the Penguins before wrapping up this 3-game homestand Monday night with the Islanders. If you don't have tickets, buy some tickets, get to the game. Support the boys as they continue on this 25-26 season, which hopefully is a turning point for this team. But I am exhausted. Lots of stuff in the works. Probably going to make that announcement tomorrow. And that's it. I appreciate all of you for coming out. Thank you for your continued support. Do I have anything else? I think that's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.